Got the wrong wings. Well, I'm going there. This may very well be the most controversial video that I have ever done. Ever. But the one thing that you gotta remember first and foremost as we go into this, I am a daredevil, and I am an adrenaline junkie. And if you're a regular viewer, granted you know that, because you could just look at my day-to-day life, put the pieces together, and you're gonna obviously see, yes, when it comes down to anything that has to do with high risk and low reward, that's me. That's what I am all about. Extreme sports. I drink with straws. I wear wing collars with neckties. Yeah, I live on the edge. And when you put it together and when you realize that, then it all makes sense. If there's someone who's going to push the envelope, if there's someone who's actually going to go there with boneless wings, that's me. Yeah, boneless wings, though. It is a controversial subject, I'll say that. And you know, the mere mention of boneless wings, it always elicits a reaction. If you take a look, the last time I mentioned boneless wings explicitly on the channel was 2 months ago. And you could see the comments that came in, and this is just a tiny handful of them. They're just cut up chicken tenders. They're just small chicken strips. They're for 5-year-olds. Boneless chicken wings are just glorified nuggets. Now that's something that the commenters are going to have to work out, whether they're nuggets or they're chicken tenders. He admitted that he prefers boneless wings, and that immediately renders his opinion useless. And ranch is for people with no taste. Gotta have blue cheese, so don't forget about that. They're just nuggets, they're not wings, they're chicken nuggets with too much breading. They're fancy chicken nuggets, that's good. It's an oxymoron, obviously, we all know that. And the comparisons in the comments are endless. And it's something that I've always known, that people, you know, they are very divided when it comes down to boneless wings and how they feel about them. And it all came to a head about 2 weeks ago. In the news, there was a lawsuit against the chain, I guess you could call it the fast food chain, the sports bar, Buffalo Wild Wings, where someone decided to take this into the legal system, and they filed a lawsuit against Buffalo Wild Wings saying, well, their boneless wings aren't actually boneless chicken wings. And that went around in the courts. I think the lawsuit got thrown out eventually, but it certainly had its day in the news. You had a lot of headlines, a lot of people talking about boneless wings and how they feel about the product and the name and all of that. And there's been so much talk about it, and I thought, well, I'm a daredevil, so I'm going to throw my hat into the ring, even if it's a week or two late. No regrets, I'm just going in and I'm going for it. That's exactly what I'm doing today. Brace yourself, because right now there's going to be a revelation. There's nothing I could do to soften the blow, so I'm just going to tell it as it is, and have to deal with the fallout. I like boneless wings. Yes, indeed, you heard that right. I like boneless wings. I am a fan of boneless wings. As a matter of fact, most of the time, if I'm given a choice between your traditional bone-in wings and boneless wings, I am going to choose the boneless wings over the traditional wings. Now, I know on a large scale right now, there's probably a few reactions. There are probably many people out there either in total shock. There's another fraction of individuals who are uncontrollably sobbing at this revelation. And then there's a third group that have turned red with rage, and I can't even begin to imagine the amount of computer screens and smartphones that are being smashed right now because I said that I like boneless wings. But like I said, no regrets. I'm just going for it. And what I want to do in this video is I don't want to change anyone's mind. I don't want to tell you, oh, you have to feel this way about boneless wings. They're this, they're not that. Oh, well, because I like boneless wings and you have to also, and you gotta. No, none of that. What I want to do in this video is just explain, well, why do I like boneless wings? What is it about them exactly that I like? That's what I'm going to cover here today. Before we get into that, there's one important concession that I do want to make. Boneless wings are not boneless chicken wings. Of course they're not. So everyone that says, and in the comments, obviously, and I know there's tons of people thinking that right now, that, oh, you idiot, it's like a chicken nugget. It's not the actual boneless wing. Yeah, of course. You're absolutely right. Boneless wings are not the boneless chicken wings, and that's all that there is to it. Boneless wings, as far as I see it anyway, it's a name for a product. And it might be a silly name. It might not be the truest name in the world. My view on it is quite simple. Call them whatever you want to call them. If you want to call them boneless wings, then call them boneless wings. If you want to call them chicken nuggets, then call them chicken nuggets. If you want to call them, oh, they're for 5-year-olds or losers, what does it matter to me? The way I see it, call them whatever you want. I just like the product. And that's all that there is to it. So as far as what they actually are, yeah, they're not actually chicken wings with the bone removed. Of course it's the breast meat and it's battered, it's fried, it's got the sauce on it. Yeah, it's a different product than the chicken wings, of course. To me, that's self-explanatory. And that's one of the things that I like about them, and I'm going to cover that more in a minute. But absolutely. So all the people out there that I see, that get very frustrated about the name of it, well, the way I see it, it's just a name. Maybe they should be called something else. I have no objection to that. If you want to call them buffalo-style nuggets, I'm on board with that. I don't have a problem there. But the name is just that. A name. It's the product itself that I'm a major fan of. I always have been, and I always will be. What you're about to see next might be one of the most difficult things you've ever bore witness to, but we're just going to go in. Like I said, I am not about softening the blows this time around. Let's take a look at a little bit of a historical montage of all of my run-ins with boneless wings over the years. For many, this footage might be nothing short of harrowing. First, we're going back to 2012, and as you could see, I'm just going right in, no fork, nothing, just eating those boneless wings with my bare hands. I warned you this was going to be rough, but no worries. By 2014, switched over to the fork. First gave it a little bit of a sniff, and there's that boneless wing with fork going in. This was just the water review. I just wanted to throw that in for the fun of it, but you could pretend that that's a liquid boneless wing. 2015, the year being. (2016) though, back at it again. This one was from Boneless, or Buffalo Wild Wings, with indeed the boneless wings. Trying it out there. Again, no fork. I was a bit more brazen then. But trying out that one, Boneless Wings, Buffalo Wild Wings. 2019, though, actually that's not a boneless wing, that's just there for the heck of it. That's a cheesy tot from Burger King, but why not throw that in? Close enough, right? And then to the present, 2021, well, I guess that's 2 years ago now, but trying out some boneless wings from Arby's, once again with the fork, which nowadays I only eat them with the fork. Well, if you thought things were bad already, it's about to get a whole lot worse, because right now, my radio show is going out on the shortwave. Gentlemen and everyone listening in to tonight. And, even worse than that, something that makes that pale in comparison, those are what you think they are. That's right. The real deal. Now, all joking and craziness aside, though, I do want to talk real quick about why I like boneless wings, what it is that I like about them, and all of that. I mean, like I said, my personal view of all of this, I think that the hate that they get is a bit overblown. I think it's, quite frankly, one of those things that it just becomes popular to hate on boneless wings, so people just go for it. I know a lot of people think the name is stupid, and I won't even be one to disagree with that, but, the name to me just is that. It's just the name. And really, it's the product that I like. I think a lot of people get caught up in the name. It's not so much what the product itself actually is, because you don't really see people hating on chicken nuggets, or as some people compared them to, chicken tenders, or any of that. Really, people just accept those for what they are, but boneless wings, it's really the name. People think, oh, well, it's not actually a boneless wing, and that's true. But I've always liked the boneless wings because, all right, a couple reasons. Number one, I don't mind eating the regular, your traditional buffalo wings. The problem that I have with them is a couple things. Number one, I prefer boneless wings because I like that I can get more meat with them. One of the favorite things that I like about wings is the sauce, of course, not necessarily the process of eating the wing, which I know might be a bit weird to some, but it's just how it is with me. But I like that you can get more meat with them. I like that you could get more of that breading and the little crisp and crunch from the breading with the boneless wings as well. To me, and these days now I think it's fluctuated a bit as far as inflation and all that goes, but to me it always seemed like for the price I was getting more food as well, given the amount of meat that you could essentially salvage from the wing as opposed to the boneless nugget, essentially, is there's quite a difference. And I also like that you could eat them with a fork. It's less messy. And then one development over the years that just has been specific to me, granted. I think for those of you who are regular viewers, you know that my teeth aren't that great, and you know that it is what it is. The circumstances are what they are, but my teeth definitely have many problems. I've had numerous extractions. I've had probably 7 or 8 root canals. I have crowns. I've had crown lengthenings, all these procedures, you name it. And I'm still in the midst of some dental work right now. As a result, when I'm eating the bone-in wings, generally they're a bit more on the firm side, and there's always that risk of biting down on the bone as well, which for me has, yes indeed, actually shattered, this is years ago granted, but it has shattered teeth of mine. So, given that, I'll just say it as it is, given that my mouth is such a train wreck, being able to eat the boneless wings with a fork, they're a little bit softer, but you could still enjoy that little bit of a crisp and crunch that the breading has to offer. They're still flavorful. I just like eating them. I mean, I like chicken nuggets. Of course, I'll like the boneless wings. And I think it's just a matter of personal preference. But to me, it still has the sauce. I like the way it tastes. It's easy to eat. It's not messy. It's economical. It's good on my teeth. That's why I like them. That's why I eat them. That doesn't mean that you have to like them, or that you have to eat them too, or that you have to be on board with the name, or any of that, because you don't have to be at all. What I wanted to do on a final note is get something from Buffalo Wild Wings. There's actually a quote from them that I want to pull up real quick, because I thought it was a good point that they raised, and I decided to get some of their honey barbecue boneless wings. I'm just going to snack on. But there was a quote that they said in a news article, and I liked this. They tweeted this out. It's true. Our boneless wings are all white meat chicken. Our hamburgers contain no ham. Our buffalo wings are 0% buffalo. And I liked that. I thought it was a witty response from them, but it's true. There's a lot of names out there that are a bit misleading. It's like a hamburger. Yeah, you're not going to expect to have a big slice of ham there, or you don't think that buffalo wings, that's buffalo meat, but no one ever pitches a fit over that. But boneless wings, it's just, I think it's one of those things that it's just popular to hate on it, just because it's popular to hate on it. And that's really all that there is to it. But I guess the moral of the story, yeah, I could understand that the name can be silly. I still like boneless wings, I always will. Call them whatever you want. But the fact that I like boneless wings really changes absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. You could still order regular wings to your heart's content. You could still hate boneless wings to your heart's content. And I'm going to keep eating boneless wings, and if a day comes where they change the name and they decide to call them, let's say, buffalo-style nuggets, well then I'm going to feel the exact same way, and I'm going to say, I like buffalo-style nuggets, or whatever the name winds up being. I just like the product. Case closed. Yeah, it tastes good. And it's easy for me to eat as well. That's the other thing. It's like I still have that dental work that is still ongoing, so I still have all the temporary stuff in my mouth. If you actually saw earlier in the video at the intro, it's actually funny how this played out. So I got 2 orders of what I was hoping were boneless wings. One were these honey barbecue wings, which are quite good. There is a nice sweetness to them, but still the chicken is juicy, it's flavorful. A little bit of saltiness to it, actually a hint of spice also, but they're good. It's just good, really just good, flavorful, enjoyable honey barbecue boneless wings. But in addition to that, I also got an order of what I thought were boneless medium wings. And I guess what they did was by accident they gave me bone-in medium wings instead of the boneless ones, so I had a little bit of fun with that. But what I'm just getting at, because of that dental work and how fragile the one front tooth still is, it's pending a crown, I was trying to figure out how can I eat these bone-in wings given that, because when you bite into a wing, you're usually biting in with the front teeth. Well, in this case, being that one of my front teeth there was essentially is out of commission, and the meat is a bit on the firmer side, I had to eat the bone-in wings with a knife and fork. And I'm sure it would have looked pitiful, a process, but I actually had to cut the meat off the wings and just deal with it that way. Whereas these, they're softer, they're not as firm, there's still, though, that little bit of a crunch to them, but I could easily come at it at an angle, eat it comfortably despite my dental situation. But all in all, like I said, moral of the story, I just like the product, and call it whatever you want to call it. Because whether or not I like the boneless wings or not, it changes nothing on your end. It has no bearing whatsoever on your life or the grand scheme of things or any of that. I like the product. You're not forced to call it whatever you want to call it. And that's all that I have for you. I just wanted to share some random thoughts on boneless wings. Hey, you might hate them. That's fine with me. I like them. And that's all that there is to it. That's all that I have for you. Hope you enjoyed this random video. Till next time, I'm your host, The Report of the Week.